Hey guys, it's Julian from Beneath the Bunk Studios and BeneathTheBunk.com. I hope you're doing wonderfully today. We are Beneath the Bunk, discussing the best way to learn a new DAW. Let's get into it. So right off the bat, I just want to say something that I think is really, really important, especially because most of the people that are watching this video, I'm assuming, are beginners and aren't learning another DAW just because they want to enhance their workflow. Like me, for example, I have experience learning, I think, around 5 DAWs over the course of how long I've been into audio. So I've done it a lot. And I know that most of you guys are watching this from the perspective of, I have never learned a DAW. So that's going to be where I'm coming from with this video. But if you're trying to add a DAW to your workflow, I'm sure this will also help you. Every time I've learned a new DAW, I like to break it down into really nice, sizable chunks. So the first thing I like to do is separate the DAW learning process from the writing process, from the mixing process, from the learning how to mix process. If in your case you don't really know how to mix, from the learning how to record, if you don't know how to record, separate all of those things and just focus on learning how to navigate the DAW and understanding the software. For example, learn how to put an EQ on your track. If you don't know what an EQ is, don't worry about that yet. Just understand how to put plugins like EQs, compressors, reverbs, delays, all that kind of stuff on a track. Again, don't worry about what any of the controls do yet. Just understand how to put them on a track and how to apply them. The second thing that I would advise that you do if you're trying to learn a new DAW is just learn how to do very basic tasks. As you can see, I have an empty Pro Tools session in front of me, and if I were starting out knowing nothing, I don't know anything about Pro Tools, I don't know how to use it, this is what I would do. I would be starting with this empty session. Really take a second to think about some of the really basic things that you need in order to do what you're trying to do. So for example, creating a track. We don't have any tracks right here. We can't record any audio with the way that Pro Tools is set right now. So, look up how to make a track in, Pro Tools, how to make a track in Cubase, whatever DAW you're using. In my case, you can go up to track and go up to new, and then you're going to get this menu, and then you could pick stereo, audio, mono, all of these different options. You could learn about what each of these options are. I definitely recommend doing that. Or alternatively, you could just do Control-Shift-N or Command-Shift-N if you're on Mac, and then open up this window without going up to the track window. So now that you made a track, maybe you want some reverb. How do you put reverb on? Well, you're going to go to your insert section and you're going to find plugins, and you're not going to have nearly as many things as I have if you're just starting out. But you're going to find reverb somewhere, and then you're going to go, okay, that's how you put reverb on a track. And then you're going to find an EQ, and you're going to go, oh, that's how you put EQ on a track. Next, how do you record? Well, you're going to have the record arm button. Pretty much every DAW has a record arm button. That's going to be consistent no matter what you're doing. And then you're going to think to yourself, how do you actually record? Maybe you hit the record button up here. So you hit record, and now you're recording audio onto this track. Hopefully you get the idea of what I'm trying to say here. I'm just saying, break down your process, understand what you need to learn, and then use that to your advantage when you're doing your internet searches, when you're looking for how to do X and Y, how to do, task in whatever DAW you're using. It really isn't as complicated as it seems, I promise. The third thing that I recommend doing when you're learning a new DAW is learning keyboard shortcuts. This is so important, and it's probably one of my top 3 audio pet peeves when people don't know any keyboard shortcuts. When I'm working with an engineer that's stumbling and is just doing everything the slow way, and everything they do, I'm like, there's a faster way to do that. Oh, there's a faster way to do that too. So learn your keyboard shortcuts. It will expedite everything, and it also will legitimize what you're doing. People will see you working and go, wow, this guy really knows his way around what he's doing. I think the best way to learn your keyboard shortcuts is every time you go to do something, whether that's creating a new track, whether that's record arming, whether that's soloing, whether that's, rendering MIDI to audio or whatever, see if there's a keyboard shortcut for that. Don't keep doing it the long way where, for example, with the track, like we just talked about, going to the track menu, going to new. Instead, you could just do Control or Command-Shift-N, and then you have this menu. You don't have to go up to the track menu all the time. I know it sounds kind of trivial, but doing that same action over and over again can save you a lot of time when you're not doing that same action over again. So for instance, let's say you keep going up to this play button to play things, and you think to yourself, I wonder if there's a different way I could do that, maybe something that's a little faster instead of moving my mouse from whatever I'm doing to up here. Oh, and then you would Google it, and you would find out that spacebar is the keyboard shortcut for playing things. And then maybe you might think about the same thing for recording. So recording, maybe I don't want to go up here and click it all the time. You would also find out that 3 on your number pad is the keyboard shortcut for recording. It'll be super duper tedious, but every time you have a task, just do it, and then never do it the old way ever again, and just implement the keyboard shortcuts, and then really just understand how to use your software. I think this is a really important step in the process that not enough people talk about, because everybody's just like, oh, I want to make music, oh, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and that's great. That's the end result here. We have DAWs because we want to make music that we can, create and make accessible to other people. But at the same time, you should also know how to go about that in the most efficient way possible. Whether you like it or not, the DAW is kind of like the middleman. Whatever DAW you're using is the intermediary between you and the music that you're trying to make. So as a result of that, it stands to reason that you should understand the intermediary as well as you possibly can, so that you can do things as fast as possible, so that you can make changes, implement your ideas. Songwriting is kind of a fragile process. You don't want to lose ideas. You want to be able to do everything fast. You want to be like, oh my God, I have this piano idea, so I'm creating a stereo instrument track right now, and I'm going to load up a piano that I have, and then there we go, that fast. You don't want to be like, okay, I have this piano idea, and then you're like, wait a minute, how do I make a stereo instrument track? Wait a minute, how do I put a plugin on the track? How do I find my piano plugin? How do I do this? How do I do that? You don't ever want to have to worry about any of that stuff, obviously. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you got something out of it, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. If you have a better method for learning than I do, tell me. I would love to improve what I've got going on, of course, and I will talk to you later.